Hello and welcome to Hexed Encountered. My name is Joe. Today I'm going to be continuing my playthrough of the game Stuka Leader from Dan Verssen Games, designed by Chuck Seegert. I am playing the Fall Weiss campaign. This will be day number 2. I have 2 videos already on this game. One would be the first look, where I kind of looked through all the components, somewhat like an unboxing, and we talked about the expansions and some of the mechanics, etc., etc. So you may want to check that out if you have not seen anything like that. The second video was part 1 of this campaign. It was day number 1. I went through the campaign setup, the mission setup, etc. And we went and did an air to ground mission, which was a success because the campaign special rules indicate that on the first mission there's no sights or bogeys. And that is due to complete surprise. So that was a very easy mission, and it was a good introduction to how air to ground works in this game. So I'm going to get right into this second day because we don't know how long this mission might take, and it could be a long video, so I am going to get right into it here. First thing we are going to do is draw our target card. We get AA battery. Okay, so this would give us 1 bogey over the target and 2 in the approaches. This is a dispersed target. It is small, secondary. So we have our keywords down here. And we can talk about what those are, but in general, every target card will have keywords on it. We kind of talked about this a little bit in the first video. And so what you end up with is you get 4 victory points. You have recon and intel tracks that move. Since this is the last day of our campaign, that the victory points will matter, but the recon and intel tracks really won't as far as how they move. This is our target number. This is how many potential bogeys there are, and that is how many hits it takes to destroy the target. Now, because our recon track got to 2, we get to draw a second card. So we can elect to use this one, or we can hold it, draw the other card, see what we get, and then pick our target. Our intel is no change. As the intel track moves to the right, you actually end up with fewer bogeys and then fewer sights, and as well as fewer bogeys. So that is the benefit of a longer campaign. As you go on, in theory, things get a little easier, again, in theory. So we're going to hold on to this guy here for a second, and we'll draw another card. And this one is a small dogfight. So this is a special card. It has a keyword that says scramble on it. What that means is that we have to fight. Scramble indicates we have to do this. Okay, so we have to do this, and our mission is to intercept 2 bogeys. Okay, so something I didn't do in the first game, or first mission, or first day rather, is put our target in the target center area here. So I did that this time. It says intercept 2 bogeys, and then in brackets it has CS, which is campaign sheet. At least I believe that's what it is. See, now theoretically, I would probably have to do this first, right? We pull 2 out, and then we look at them, and we have a no bogey and a bogey. So I guess that means we only have 1 bogey. And then you're supposed to roll to determine where it starts. So let's roll our 2 dice. We have 2 bogeys in hand. And we get a 6 and a 4. So a 6 is the south approach, and a 4, is the north approach. Okay, so we have a bogey in the north approach and a no bogey in the south approach. Once you draw out a no bogey, you would have to toss it back. Now I think that's right because it says to draw the bogeys, right? So we draw bogeys, and in theory, because in many campaigns, when you draw a bogey, you don't know. There are potentially multiple types of bogeys, like Battle of Britain. Could be a Spitfire, could be a Hurricane, right? You don't know. In this event, we know it's going to be a P-11. But I don't think that changes the fact that you have to draw the bogey counters first, and then based on that, you'll know if you have an actual bogey or not. So this is a no bogey. It's going back in the cup. Okay, I recalibrated my shot, zoomed in a little bit so we get a little bit tighter look here. Our card is on the target. We get 1 victory point, so that's an issue now. There's our bogey. He's in the north approach. So here's the thing, okay? You get 1 victory point for destroying this target. I got 2 on day 1. That's a total of 3. Our campaign card would indicate that 3 victory points is a poor evaluation. But we have our secondary target, which was the first card I drew, worth 4 victory points. So that would give us 7, assuming I destroy this guy and that target, which would be a great evaluation, the highest possible for the short campaign. And so I think that's what we're going to try to do. Now, to do that, though, you can only use your aircraft on 1 mission per day. So what to do about this guy? He's one single solitary aircraft that we know is going to be a PCL P11 because that's the only thing the Poles have. So I'm going to send 1 Messerschmitt up against him and hope for the best. Now, I do have this event card from day 1. Now, I'm a little unsure if I should be able to use it or not, or if you don't use it on the previous day's mission, it's ejected. I kept it because I didn't use it, because I didn't need to use it. So it says save this card, discard to reroll any die roll. I think campaign-wise, it's probably okay to use it, but I've decided that I'm going to try to not use it. Like, I'm not going to use it unless I really feel like it'll be necessary. Just because I'm unsure. So maybe if Chuck or Tom Consul or any of the other guys who are really knowledgeable about the game, if any of those guys see this and say, hey man, you could have used that, or hey man, you can't use that, then that would clear that up for me going forward for future play, and also for people watching the video who might also have that particular question. So we've drawn our target cards, we've selected our target, we've determined and placed sites, which there aren't any. We have to assign our pilot. So I am going to send Hoffman out here. He's an average. I have 2 green pilots as well, and I was going to actually send them. Ironically, he's my best in terms of experience, so he's an average. So he has no zeal, he has no horido, he has no situational awareness. He does have 1 cool. So he's going to go out. He's got a +1 air-to-air. He's going to go out solo and try to take out our bogey. He's going to intercept and try to shoot him down. So that is our pilot. It will be Hoffman taking on our Polish bogey. So after that, you go to prepare for mission. So prepare for mission is pretty straightforward in this event. It's like where you buy your weapons and drop tanks and all that stuff. I am not going to put a drop tank on this because part of your dogfight resolution, and here's our dogfight player aid, which is mounted. That's kind of cool. I really like this. You see here, weight points. We would have a 1 weight point if I put a drop tank on there. He doesn't need a bomb because this is an air-to-air mission. He does not have zeal or situational awareness or whatever, so we don't have to worry about that. This is pretty straightforward. Okay, so we're just going to go right into the mission here. And the first thing we do here on the target-bound flight is draw our target-bound event card. So we pull our card. Whoops. And, oh, this is interesting. So this is Full Military Might, or Ganze Militärische Macht, if you want to do the German version of it. And it says, for every 2 SO points paid, inflict 1 hit against the target. This can destroy the target. Well, it only takes 1 hit to kill the target in this case. There's only 1 aircraft, and I do have 6 SO points. So you know what? I'm gonna use it, and I'm gonna spend 2 SO points, and I am going to shoot this guy down. So that's going to actually prevent the mission from even happening. Now, let's assume that the mission did happen, and talk about how dogfighting works, just in general. Now, I'm going to do more videos. I've already decided that I'm going to do a playthrough of the Stalingrad campaign from the Eastern Front first expansion. So that is expansion number 1, I think, or 2, 1 or 2. Anyway, this is the campaign card for that. You can see down here, short campaign is 5 days. So I can't promise I'll do all 5 days, but I'd like to. It really depends on how much audience I get, how many views I get, because I have such a massive backlog of stuff I want to get through. I was really psyched to get this game and get it on the table, so it kind of jumped a bunch of stuff in line to get out here and be shown on my channel. But going forward, I might not be able to do that. So just to talk about mechanics of the dogfight. So basically, it involves positioning. So let's pull a P11 out of here, right? So we have a P11, and let's look at this guy. Okay. So you see the A at the bottom right A, that's average, so that's his skill. The +0 is his air-to-air rating, and then you have 7, 9, 10, those are the to-hit numbers, right? The 39 is obviously that this is a 1939 aircraft. All of the aircraft have a number or date, a year basically for when they were available. So he would take on, our Hoffman here, right? So we would lose the bogey counter, and they would be facing each other kind of like this, right? And so if you've played Down in Flames, it works somewhat similarly to that, in that basically you maneuver against each other, and they are controlled by die rolls. So you have bandit actions and then the action roll. So you would look at what the situation is, right? So if they're coming at each other, that's neutral. Nobody has an advantage. So you'd roll your D10, you look at these numbers, and that will give you an action. So under 4, you get a tight turn, and then you would go to the tight turn and roll, and then in here it would tell you what it did for it, right? So ultimately, you want to get in a position where you can get a +1 on your attack roll, or get on his tail and get a +3 on the attack roll. There's rules down here. I'm not going to go too far into this, just a brief overview. It is a clever system. It does remind me of the system from Down in Flames, which isn't a surprise since that's also a Dan Verssen Games creation. Although GMT also has their version. Wild Blue Yonder is their kind of carry on of the Down in Flames system, which was created by Dan Verssen when he worked for GMT. So. Digressing again, I do this a lot, I'm sorry. I look at it as giving flavor. It's a positive thing. So anyway, that's how a dogfight would work. So this guy is destroyed. I think it only takes 1 hit. I kind of looked here, quick pause, which you didn't even notice probably. And I looked at the rules. So I'm going to put him down as a dead duck there. I'll throw that back in there. So we'll mark Hoffman as having played that mission and completed it. I don't know if he gets credit for a kill or not. I don't know. It's not a big deal. But now we're going to do our secondary mission here of the anti-aircraft battery. So that's going to go in the center. And I have my whole squadron. So I'll have 7 aircraft available to take this guy on. We do know there's 1 bogey in the target and 2 in each of the approaches. So I have 2 Messerschmitts and 5 Stukas that are going to have to face potentially a bunch of bogeys. Some of these may end up being no bogeys. Looking at our target here, you can see it's got 5. That's the amount of aircraft we can bring with us, and the number of pilots or aircraft, depending on how you want to look at it. And I already talked about the bogeys. It's worth 4 victory points. I also mentioned that. It would also move our track, which is less important for us because we are using we have a 2-day campaign, so it's nice and short, because I just wanted to kind of go through some of the basics of the game here with this, and then we'll get into some of the expansion stuff. As I mentioned, I'm going to do Stalingrad next, which is a 5-day campaign, so this would become more pertinent to that. Dispersed, small, secondary. So what those mean, we have here our key terms, right, for what's on the card. So you see dispersed. Each air-to-ground munition cannot inflict more than 1 hit on the target, right? They're spread out. That's what dispersed means, of course. Small, -1 from air-to-ground rolls against the target. Okay, so it's a little harder to hit because they're just small anti-aircraft guns. Then we have secondary, which we mentioned. This is a secondary target. Destroy 4 20mm sights. And then we also have improvement. So this is if you don't destroy the target, then you will get the effect of it if it's not destroyed. So you would get +1 center sight draw. So basically you're going to end up with tougher opposition. But the key thing I wanted to mention here was that we can only bring 5. I have 7 available, so we're going to be down 2, plus the one who flew the primary mission, which was the scramble intercept, and it takes 4 hits to destroy the anti-aircraft sites. Okay, so let's talk about the pilots who are going on the mission. So first we have Gruber. Gruber is one of my 2 Messerschmitt pilots who will be along here for escort purposes. He has a Zeal, 1 cool, and he's 0 to 3 okay with a +1 air-to-air. I will not be needing him, I hope, for the air-to-ground, in which case he's a -3. We do have another Messerschmitt going. That would be Broker here. So Broker has a situational awareness, and I also had purchased a skill for him, the Ernst skill, at the very beginning of the campaign. What that skill gives you is if you did not participate in the previous day's mission, which he did not, you get a +1 to all your die rolls. So that's good to have. So that's my 2 Messerschmitts. And then I'm bringing 3 Stukas along. So we have Hermann here. He's got a Zeal and a Horido. He's also got a cool. The -1 maneuverability, that's for dogfighting purposes. So if we get into a dogfight, which is a possibility in this particular mission, obviously Stukas were not designed to participate in that type of thing, so they're a little bit at a disadvantage. He does, however, have a +1 on his air-to-air, but only rear gunner for the Stuka. That's what the brackets mean. And the +2 to air-to-ground, and he's got a dive rating of 2 as well. Then we have 2 more Stukas that are coming along for the ride here. We have Heitmeyer, who's a veteran. And Heitmeyer has a Zeal and a Horido as well. 1 cool as well. He's a tough cookie. 0 to 7, he stays okay. And he gets a +3 air-to-ground and a +3 dive. So he is pretty good. And then we have Puffer, or Poofer, depending on how you want to pronounce it. He's got 1 Zeal. He's got a cool. He's a 0 to 4 okay. He gets a -2 air-to-air and a +1 air-to-ground and a +1 on the dive. So he's not great, but he's not terrible. So those are the aircraft that will be taking part in this mission. Now it's time to get this thing going. So we have to draw our target-bound event card. So we're going to do that. And so we get assign 1 pilot in your squadron a skill for 0 SO points. That's cool. So we're going to do that, obviously. So I'm going to choose Beschützt, which is chosen, expend. So you have to use it. It's a 1-use thing. And when you suffer a destroyed result, instead draw a minor hit mark counter. So we'll do that. So it's just going to go on Gruber's card here. All right, so that was our target-bound event card. We're going to place our aircraft and choose our altitude. We'll come in from the west. We'll put Gruber up top. We'll put Broker here in the middle. Everybody's high. Then we'll stick Hermann here. And we'll put Heitmeyer and Puffer there. Okay, and everybody's high altitude. Remove the proper number of fuel barrels. This is target 30. So this is actually a difficult target. This is going to cost us 2 fuel barrels, and that is per aircraft, and we have 5 aircraft, so that's actually more fuel than I have now that I look at it. And that's a problem. So I guess we're not taking Puffer with us after all. Since I can't afford him, I missed that. And that's a problem, of course. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with 2 Messerschmitts and, oh, wait a minute. 2 Messerschmitts And yes, and 2 Stukas. So that's going to use all of our fuel barrels. They're all up here. I'm going to use all of them except one. So I'm going to put this guy back. And I used all my fuel barrels up. Determine and place bogeys. All right, so we have to draw 1 bogey for the target. So let's do that first. And we get a bogey. So bogey marker on the target. Then 2 for each approach. So we'll do north approach first. And we get a bogey and a no bogey. So bogey, no bogey. We'll do east next. Come on. Bogey, no bogey. So 1 and 1 again. South approach. 2 no bogeys. So that's good. And the west approach. Bogey, no bogey. All right. So there we go. Now I'm going to put the no bogeys back. So we have 4 bogeys. We have 2 Messerschmitts with which to deal with them. Okay, so initial air defense, intel air defense adjustment. There is no change. So we go to our over target event card. Gain 1 fuel barrel for every 2 aircraft on this mission. Round up. We have 4 aircraft. We will gain 2 fuel barrels. So here's our 2 fuel barrels. I'll put them up top. That doesn't really impact us because this is the last mission of the campaign. But if we were going on this, that would be a useful event, obviously. Put our turn tracker in turn 1. You can't see it, but it is on turn 1. So now we've got over target resolution. Fast pilots attack. I do not have any fast pilots at all. And the dive bombers are not diving yet because they are not over the center area. And I just realized a couple more things I missed. First, I did not tell you what munitions I was bringing along for my aircraft. And so both Stukas, of which there are 2, have 1 AB-250 cluster bomb and 2 SC-250 bombs, 250 kilogram bombs. So 3 250s, but one of them is a cluster bomb, which is good on soft targets, which anti-aircraft guns are. So I had to pay 2 SO for that, leaving me with 2. I started this particular mission with 4. And I also forgot the sights that have to go out in here too, because on our target card here, it says destroy 4 20mm sights. You have to put the sights out. So there are going to be 4 of them. I'll just stick them here, kind of 1 in each corner type of thing. Because they are dispersed, don't forget. So we have our 4 20mm anti-aircraft guns here that the Stukas will be attempting to destroy. We also have the 4 bogeys. So now we can pick up where we left off, which would be sights and bandits attack. So none of the bogeys can attack at the moment. Neither can the sights because they're all short range. And we are still in the pre-approach area and they are in the approaches, obviously. So you get to move to the slow pilots attack, which would be ours. And we can't attack them either. So what we are going to do now is we are going to move our aircraft in. So we will move Broker in, and we will move Gruber in. And we're going to leave Hermann and Heitmeyer out for the moment. Okay, so now bogeys and bandits will move. So we're going to have, basically they need to decide who they're going to move towards. So let's have this bogey move towards Gruber. And this bogey will move into the west approach. Okay, so now that would be the end of the first turn, and we will advance to turn number 2. Okay, so now we have our second turn here. So we do the same thing. Fast pilots attack. We don't have any fast pilots. Sights and bandits attack. Okay, so now we're going to have some air-to-air combat between the bandits and the escorting Messerschmitts. Okay, so first I have to draw my bandits out. I know what all 4 bandits are going to be, so I'm just going to draw all four of them out anyway. Because they all are going to... There's only one Polish fighter, so all 4 of these guys are going to be P11s. So since these guys are unengaged, you can't have 2 aircraft engaged on one, so they will battle it out here. Okay, so I probably wasn't supposed to draw these 2 out because they're not engaged, but these 2 are engaged. So I also didn't mention the quality of the aircraft I pulled, the bandits. These 2 are both legendary, great, and these 2 are both average. So this could end up being pretty bad, even though the P11 was pretty inferior to the Messerschmitt. It's, you know, in some cases the pilots matter, right? So they start off neutral, which is head-to-head, okay? Now, since none of my pilots are fast, the bogeys get to attack first. So they're going to... We have our nice mounted Stuka dogfight board here. Okay, so for enemy action choice, we roll a d10, we add their air-to-air skill, and subtract friendly maneuvering. So this is going to be easy. They have an air-to-air skill of 2, the legendaries. The maneuverability of my Messerschmitts is a 0, so I'm going to roll 1 die here, 1 d10. And look at that, we got a 10. So the 10 for advantage or neutral is out of the sun. Okay, so out of the sun, then we're going to roll on here in the out of the sun column, or row rather. So d10 plus enemy air-to-air, so we know that's going to be 2, minus friendly air-to-air. So he is attacking Broker. Broker's air-to-air is +1. He gets, well, he'll get a +1 when he rolls as well. He also has situational awareness. So I could have spent my situational awareness to actually have him attack first, and I didn't do it, which was kind of stupid. But if I'll save it in case I need it when we end up attacking this other guy here, because he's also a legendary pilot. So again, we have a d10 +2, -2 for, -1 for Broker, minus maneuverability, which is a 0, minus weight points, which is also a 0. So that is going to be a +1 on his die roll. And we get a 7, +1 is 8, +4 attack. The +4 attack doesn't change his positioning, so we're still neutral, so this is a head-on shot, but he's going to get a +4 on his die roll. Okay, so we're going to roll again, and we'll see what happens here. We need to roll really low, or this is going to be at least 1 hit. Okay, so our 5 result +4 is a 9. The 9 is the second number here, so that's a major hit. So we have our cup here with our hits in it. We pull it out, and we get a stress counter. So that is a stress, so we put a stress counter. And the stress counters in this game look like this. If it would focus on it. This camera is driving me crazy today. There we go. All right, come on, man. Cooperate. All right, so Broker gets a stress. He does have a cool, but he's also going to get a couple stress after this. And again, it doesn't really matter because this is the last mission. All right, so we start with our action. Okay, so it is d10 plus enemy air-to-air, and that's, again, this guy's an average, so it's a 1. So it's going to be a d10 plus 1 because Gruber's maneuverability is a 0. Oh, it's a 1. All right, good. So we're in neutral column, 4 minus. Okay, so we're in here. So if he rolls low, we'll be in good shape. So action success. So again, it's d10 plus friendly air-to-air. So it's going to be a +1 minus enemy air-to-air. This is Gruber. His air-to-air is 1. So they cancel each other out. Friendly maneuverability is 0 and weapons point is 0. So this is an unmodified roll. and it's a 5. 3 to 5, no effect. All right. So now he would attack. Neutral gets nothing on his on the roll. Oh, God. All right, that's a minor hit. So let's pull our shit out, and we get a no effect. Thank you. All right. Now we get to attack. All right, so now when we get to attack, we do the same thing. Perform maneuvering and attack for your engaged pilots. All right, so we're going to pick one of these. So our friendly maneuvering is a 0. Our friendly air-to-air for Mr. Broker here is a +1. And the enemy air-to-air is a 2. So that's going to be a -1 on our die roll here. So a -1 on our die roll. In my sights or out of the sun can only be attempted if your aircraft is neutral. All right, or neutral or advantaged or tailing. So I'm going to try an out in my sights. We're going to try in my sights here. So let's roll. Whoops, let's roll inside the dice tower, Joe. We get a 3 in my sights. So I'm glad I didn't choose out of the sun, but in my sights is a +1 on my attack roll. All right, so again, attack roll is going to be D10 plus friendly air-to-air, which is a 1, minus enemy air-to-air is a 2, plus position is going to be a 0, plus action result is going to be a +1. So we're going to get a +1. So the gun rating here is an 8. So I need an 8, and I'm going to get a +1. So basically I need a 7. We get a 2. All right, so that failed. All right, so we have to do Gruber on this guy, right? So we do the same thing. I'm going to do the in my sights again. Might as well. Hope I roll pretty high here. A 3. So again, that's a +1 attack because the 1 and 1, his 1 and their 1 cancel each other out. So it's a 3, so that is a +1 attack. So now we roll for the attack. D10 plus my maneuverability, which is 0, plus my air-to-air, which is 1, minus their air-to-air, which is also 1, minus weight points, which is 0, so that's going to be just the basic number. So I do need to roll an 8 here. And I rolled a 7. Good Lord. All right, so now we go to aircraft move. These guys move in. I probably should have moved them in before, but then they probably would have gotten shot down. So we go to turn 3, and we go through the whole rigmarole again. I'm going to use my zeal this time, or my situational awareness rather. I'm going to use my situational awareness for Broker, who is here to attack this guy, and we're going to try the in my sights again. Maybe I should try half loop. Try half loop. If I can roll really high, this could be really useful. So we're going to do the half loop. So again, he gets a +1 on his die rolls, and I forgot about that. I don't think it would have helped him before, but it will help him now. So D10 plus his maneuvering, which is 0, plus his air-to-air, which is 1, minus the enemy's air-to-air, which is 1. So that cancels out. But I get a +1 on the die roll that I totally forgot about. And it's an 8. Yes. So that 8 becomes a 9. And a 9 on a half loop is +4 positioning and +2 attack. I think I got him now. So the +4 positioning means that his position will go from neutral to tailing. So he is now tailing this guy. And tailing is a terrible position to be in. So we're going to have a +2 attack and a +3 because he's tailing. +5 on the attack. So all I need to do is roll a 3. Because all the other stuff will cancel out. And because I get the +1, I really only need to roll a 2. So watch me roll a 1 or a 2 here. Ready? And we rolled a 7. I just realized that was off shot. I did really roll an 8. I'm not lying. So the 7 means he is shot down and he's legendary, which means he doesn't go back in the cup. He's just eliminated. Again, that doesn't really matter in this case because of the way the campaign is progressing. But that was well worth it because now Broker has, he has basically destroyed that guy. And so now that's good because now they get to attack us. So we know that this guy is now going to attack, and I need to determine they go for the bomber first, but I think the escort rules allow me to you may engage if at any time there are unengaged friendly aircraft and bogeys in the same area. Determine which of your friendly aircraft the bogeys will engage. Determine the engagement for the bogey in the following order. An unengaged escort may engage one unengaged bogey before the bogey rolls to determine which aircraft it will engage. This will prevent the bogey from choosing to attack your bombers or an escort that you do not want engaged. So guess what? He's going to have to attack Broker. So shooting that guy down was a massive win for me because it gives me a chance to at least, if I can destroy 2 of these guns, it'll give me 2 VP, which would move my evaluation up from poor to good, and I would take it. Okay, so now he gets to attack, so we're going to roll for our bandit actions. So again, it's D10 plus enemy air-to-air minus friendly maneuvering, so he's going to get a +2 because we don't have any maneuvering. He gets a 6, which becomes an 8. An 8 at neutral is a half loop. So now in his action success, he's getting a D10 plus his 2 minus Broker's 1 will give him a +1. So this is a roll +1. We need to roll low. And I forgot to move this out again. He rolled a 2. So that becomes a 3. And a 3.5 loop is a -1 positioning, which means he goes from neutral to disadvantaged. So he's at disadvantage now, and that means he cannot attack me. All right, so that worked out okay. So now I need to, we'll move over here, and then he'll get to attack again because using the SA, you don't lose your slow attack, you just gain the extra attack. That's why it's really an advantage to have that situational awareness. So now he's going to attack Gruber, and then we'll have to do, this guy is going to attack Herman as well. And I think I screwed up in the previous turn, like the extra unengaged guy probably would have attacked. I think the rule says they attack these fighters, so I missed that, and I apologize. At least I think I missed it. So let's re-roll here, or not re-roll, we're going to roll. So he gets a +1 and a -1, so that's a 0. So let's see what he gets here. So from the neutral, a 7 is a yo-yo. All right, so now he's rolling to resolve. He gets a, it's still going to be a 0, no, unmodified. And he rolled another 7. So a yo-yo 7 is going to be +1 at position, +1 attack. So now he's advantaged. And advantage, he's going to get a +1. And he's going to get another +1 from his roll, so he's getting a +2 on this roll. So we have to hope he rolls low. He rolled a 3, +2 is 5. That's not going to be a hit, thankfully. Okay. So now we'll do these guys here. He's going to attack Herman. Herman actually has a +1 air-to-air, but again, it's a rear gunner. So he can only use that when he is tailed or disadvantaged, I believe, or maybe just tailed. I'll have to check that because I don't remember. So we're going to do the roll again. So we've got D10 plus enemy air-to-air, which is 1, minus friendly maneuvering. So the friendly maneuvering is a -1 for the Stuka. So he's going to get a +2. Rolls a 6. A 6 plus 2 is an 8. That's a half loop. He's going to get the same +2 here. Actually, no, he gets more because he's got weight points. He's got carrying 3 weight points. So this is going to be 2. It's going to be 10 plus 1 minus, I guess, -0. I mean, his air-to-air is in brackets. I mean, I don't know if that counts. I'm going to count it, I guess. So it's +1, -1, The maneuverability we know is a -1. And his weight points are 3, so he's going to be a +4, I guess. So yeah, this is a +4 on his roll here on the half loop. And he rolled a 9. So that's going to be +4 positioning, +2 attack, which means he's on his tail. And he gets 2 additional on his attack. All right, so we get, let's see here, D10 plus enemy air to air. So that's a +1, a -1 is a 0, minus robust is 0. And the positioning gives him a +4, or +3 rather, and the action result. Okay, so +3 on his roll, and then a +2 on the attack. So he's getting a +5. So it's almost a certainty he's going to at least get a minor hit here. We rolled a 6. A 6 plus 5 is 11. That means that Hermann has been destroyed. He's been destroyed. So this is where Hermann's Horito counter comes in handy, because we can spend this to take that destroyed and make it a no result. Woo! So that's a useful thing there. All right, so now that we've got that, it's our turn to attack. So we'll start with Broker here. So he is advantaged. Okay, so since he's advantaged, let's try to be a little bit more aggressive and go with an out of the sun. So he's got, so looking at our action, we get a D10 plus friendly maneuvering, which is 0, plus friendly air to air for Broker is a +1. Minus enemy air to air is a 2, so that's a -1. So it's our D10 -1. And we get a 5. A 5 -1 is -1 position. So we go back to neutral. So we're back to neutral. And we lost our +1 on the attack roll. Oh, wait. Broker has Ernst. So actually, that 5 becomes a 6. And then that goes from being a -1 position to a +4 on the attack roll. I forgot about the Ernst effect. It's every roll this mission, he gets a +1. So that's an awesome skill to have. He's advantaged, which gives him a +1, and he gets a +4 on the attack. So he's looking at a +5. So again, we need a 2 or higher because of our +1. We get a 6. Another legendary has been destroyed. That's 2 kills for Broker. 2 kills for Broker in this mission. So that's awesome for him. And look, it's clear. Heitmeyer has a clear run into the target now. So at least one of our Stukas is going to get through. He'll have to deal with these guys, but he's going to get in there at least. All right, so now we'll move to Gruber, who is disadvantaged. So we need to improve our positioning. So our best chance of improving positioning is probably the barrel roll. So we're going to try a barrel roll to see if we can get better positioning. So yeah, because if we roll a 3, we'll get 1 position. If we roll a 3 to 5, we get +1. If we roll a 6 to 8, we're going to go from disadvantage to neutral and have a -1 attack. So actually, this is better than this. And then a 9 or above. You know what? I'm going to actually use a scissors. Let's roll a scissors here. All right, so +1 for him. So it's going to be a +1, a -1. It negates, so that's a 0. And that's all we've got here. So he rolled a 10. He rolled a 10 on the scissors. Is disadvantage to advantage and a +3 attack. So he's going to go this way, and he's going to go this way. Okay, so now we get a +3 on the attack. We're also advantaged, so we're going to get another 1. So Gruber here can get a kill too, possibly. So he'll need, let's see, D10 plus the friendly maneuvering, which we know is 0, plus his +1, -1. He has no weight points, but we do get the +4. And we get an 8, so that is the end of this guy. And Gruber gets a kill. So things are going better. I was a little nervous there, but we're doing okay now. We have one more left to do. Now he's tailed. So he can fire on him because we have the rear gunner. The Stuka has a rear gunner, so he can fire without changing position. Okay, so I'm going to choose no maneuver because I just want to roll on the on here. So we need a 9 or a 10 to destroy the enemy. So that's not going to happen. But for our attack resolution, D10 plus maneuverability, which is a -1, plus friendly air-to-air, which is a +1 for Herman, minus the enemy's air-to-air, which is a 1, minus weight points. Actually, it's not even worth rolling it because I can't hit him. So I guess I am going to attempt a maneuver to see if I can get out of here. So we're going to go with the barrel roll, I guess. So we'll go barrel roll, and we got an 8. 8 minus 3 is a 5. So 5 barrel roll is +1 positioning, so we're now disadvantaged. But I believe, if I read this correctly, in the dogfight rules, at the end of an attack on a bomber, they become unengaged. When selecting a target for an unengaged bogey, they will first maneuver against an attack of random bomber. After this attack, they return to unengaged. So they are now unengaged, which is good because now he can actually go into the target area, and Gruber will take on our bandit. Okay, so we are at the aircraft move stage here of turn 3. So I am going to move all my aircraft into the center area here. And that is going to mean that our opposition is also going to move in here as well, because they will need to chase. I mean, they're defending their territory, so they will need to chase obviously, and come in and protect their mates, so to speak. So as we go to turn number 4 now, and this is a 5-turn one, it does not say that this is a -1 turn. There's no keyword in here for that which does exist on some target cards. Okay, so we are back to the top here. So we're over target, and now we have dive bombers, dive to low. So finally, it is time for Heitmeyer and Hermann to actually attack the targets, assuming they can get through the anti-aircraft fire and so forth. They will bomb their targets. So since we have 2 Stukas and 4 targets, I will target 2, 1 each on the first attempt, and then if we go to turn, I'm assuming we will get to turn 5. When we get to turn 5, I will attack the other 2. But all 4 of them will be able to fire at us, and they also still have, of course, the 1 bogey. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to dive our Stukas, and I'll have this guy go into this one. We'll just denote it like this. And we'll have Hermann go after this guy, just like in the corners, so they're kind of out of the way, kind of thing, like so. Then we go to fast pilots attack, and I don't have any fast pilots. I also do not have any other situational awareness. Heitmeyer and Hermann both have Zeal, and Heitmeyer also has Horido. And I can use Horido to make a attack roll a 10 automatically, and I may do that because it is kind of imperative for us to at least destroy 2 of these guns. At least 2, hopefully 4, but at least 2. So we're going to go to the sights and bandits attack phase here. One thing I did miss earlier that I should mention is when I first moved into the approaches from the pre-approach, I left my Stukas out there since they're escorted. That was not legal. They should have moved in with them. And I'll probably, if I remember, I'll make a note on the video when I did that to indicate that I shouldn't have done that because it was illegal. But in case I forgot to do it, and you're watching this now, this was a mistake, and I do actually realize it at this point that I messed that up. Okay, so sight attacks. Sights are limited to the aircraft they can attack based on the aircraft's altitude and range. So you can see here, maybe I can get this to actually focus. It did, okay. So you can see here that it says L there, right there in the corner. That indicates that they can only attack a low altitude aircraft. Well, guess what? Both of our Stukas are diving to low altitude, right? Because they're coming in to attack. So that means the 4 anti-aircraft sights, which are all low, can attack them. Each sight can only attack one aircraft. So what I'll do is I'll have these 2 attack Heitmeyer, and these 2 will attack Hermann. So that's how we'll do that. And then we're going to end up with a dogfight between Gruber and our last P11, which is a veteran. So that's how that's going to work. Okay. So this is a range 0. So that means they couldn't fire at them when they were out here, but they can fire at them now that they're in the same box, basically. So obviously their ability to hit is pretty good, and you have to look at the robustness. So you roll the die and apply the robustness modifier, which is a 0 for the Stukas. If it's less than the first number, there's no effect. If it's equal or greater than the first but less than the second, it's a yellow minor hit. And if it's between the second and the third, it's a major hit. And if it is the third, it is a destroyed result. So this is Heitmeyer on this side. So we'll roll this guy first. And we get a 7, so that is a minor hit. So we pull out a chit. And we get loud noise. Now if we look at our hit result definitions on the minor side, a loud noise is a -1 maneuver this turn. Okay, so that is Heitmeyer's result. I'm actually going to keep this. I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to put it on his card so I'll remember. Now we'll roll for the other one. Also attacking Heitmeyer. Rolled a 3. So that's actually below his number, so that's just a miss. So Heitmeyer comes through relatively unscathed. And now we'll do the other side on Hermann. And he gets a 6, so that is another minor hit. And we get a, oh my God. This is terrible. That is a KIA. And he does not have Horido. Heitmeyer does. So I can't cancel that out. So, yeah. There it is. In black and white on yellow. KIA, aircraft destroyed, pilot killed. So Hermann has been killed, and he's off the board. So this mission just got a whole lot more difficult because I have to rely on Heitmeyer destroying 2 sites. So those this guy, he had chosen to engage Hermann. I mean, I suppose you would just roll again and see what he, 5, it would have been another minor hit. And that would have been stress, but it doesn't really apply because, well, he's dead. Oh, shoot. Knocked my cup over. In my frustration at having my pilot killed, I knocked my cup over. All right. So now we'll do the P11 against Gruber. So we have to get our handy-dandy dogfight aid out again. Okay, so we're going to roll for our bandit actions, and we know it's D10 plus enemy air-to-air minus friendly maneuvering. So the Messerschmitt's maneuvering is a 0, so it's going to be a +1 to his die roll. And he gets a 7. A 7 plus 1 is an 8. At neutral, an 8 is a half loop. Now we roll for the action success, which is D10, enemy air-to-air, friendly air-to-air, friendly maneuvering, friendly weight points. So these two are 0. And enemy air-to-air minus friendly air-to-air is also 0. So this is just your base unmodified roll. And he got a 5, which is nothing. So now we get to flip the script here, and we'll have Gruber do his attack just to kind of get that out of the way. So they are neutral. They are head on. And let's see, what do we want to do? Let's try the in my sights. So for this we do D10 plus friendly maneuvering, which is 0, plus friendly air-to-air for Gruber, that is a +1, minus enemy air-to-air, which is a 1. So it's unmodified, basically. And we rolled a 6. So a 6 on the in my sights is a +2 attack. So we're going to roll for the attack, which again is D10 plus friendly minus enemy air-to-air. That cancels each other out. Sorry, I hadn't had that up far enough. Position will be 0 because we're neutral. Action result is a +2. So we're going to add 2 to our dice, and we need to roll an 8. So we need a 6. And we get a 7. All right. Another one bites the dust. And I'm supposed to throw these back in the cup, but I'm just keeping them down on the bottom. So both Gruber and Broker get 2 kills on this mission. Gruber killed an average and a veteran. Oh no, I'm sorry, 2 veterans, not an average and a veteran, 2 veterans. And Broker killed 2 legendary pilots, so that's even more impressive. So now we'll roll Heitmeyer's attack on this site. So now we have an air-to-ground attack, which we saw briefly in part 1 or day 1 of this campaign. But now we're doing it again. So we do not have forward-firing guns. So we're going to have to drop our weapons here. And I have 3 bombs. I have 3 bombs and 2 turns in which to use them. For this one, I will use my... Now, it only takes 1 hit to destroy them. So you got to hope you get the 1 hit. Now, the other thing here is if I use this... If I use the cluster bomb, if I had used it for a suppression attack, it gives a +2. So that doesn't apply. The S+1, excuse me, if I did get that, it would give me a 2 hits instead of 1, but you're only allowed to get 1 hit on these because they're dispersed. So I am going to use this one. We need a 7 to hit, okay? And then our modifiers would normally be... for the air-to-ground, he gets a +3. For the dive, he also gets a +3. And so that would be enough to destroy it. But I can actually use my Horrido counter. And since this is the end of this campaign, I am going to use my Horrido counter. And that automatically makes the roll a 10, which automatically kills the target. So that one goes on Heitmeyer's ledger. So we are going to turn number 5. Nobody's moving, so we go right to turn 5. Now, again, we don't have any fast. I don't have anybody with situational awareness to let me jump the queue here and get attack in early. So we get to go through another round of air to air, ground to air. Basically, this guy will now fire on Heitmeyer. These 2 will also fire on Heitmeyer. So he's got to run the gauntlet here. And then he will attack one of these 3, hopefully destroying it. And in that event, we would actually end the campaign with 5 points, and which would be a good result, which I would take. If not, then we end the campaign with 3, which is a poor result. So we do not want that. So we'll do this guy first. That is a 6, so we pull 1. And we hope we don't get another KIA because that was dreadful. And we get a stress. So stress here, as you can see. So he gets a stress marker, which is this guy. So he gets 1 stress. And now let's roll this one. That is a 5. That is another minor wound. And it is another stress. It's hard to read. It didn't focus very well. So this 1 stress becomes a 2 stress. We drop that in there as well. Now we got the third and final one. Last bullet to dodge, so to speak. Now Heitmeyer's okay up to stress 7. So if we keep getting stressed, that's fine. So it's a 7. So he does avoid the dreaded major wound. And we get a bruise. So if we look at our list here for here, bruise is stress plus 1. So basically it's another stress. So we're going to throw that away and we're going to get a plus 3 stress here. But he's good. He's good up to 7. So he's a tough cookie, is our pilot Heitmeyer here. So he is now going to make his attack. So again, he has a plus 3 air to ground and a plus 3 dive. He needs to roll a 7, and we're going to take 2 cracks at this. We have 2 bombs left. 2 SC-250s here. 7 and 10, as you can see. So he really needs, we're getting a plus 6. So, yeah, he basically is going to almost be guaranteed to hit. So, but we're going to go through this anyway. Roll the 3. 3 plus 6 is 9. That is enough to destroy our second sight. That's all we can do. These 2 guys are at high altitude. They cannot do anything. We go to the move phase. Everybody boogies on out of here. And that is the end of our combat. So we would go to our campaign resolution. Well, our mission resolution first, then our campaign resolution. So homebound flight, we draw an event card. Okay, we don't have any damaged aircraft. We took a loud noise, 2 stress, and a bruise for Heitmeyer. So let's draw our event card, and we go to the bottom. Remove all stress from legendary pilots in the squadron and allocate it to any non-legendary pilots. We do not have any legendary pilots. We go home. We don't have any wounded pilots. We don't have any damaged aircraft. Note on the player log the number of hits you scored on the target. If you score one half of the you score one half of the target's victory points, rounding down, and shuffle the target back into the deck. So that's going to give us 2, which gives us a total of 5. And a 5 on our campaign here, and the counters kind of slid around a little bit when I moved it, but here's our short. We got a 5, so we have a good evaluation. So all things considered, that was not a bad thing. I won't bother with the player log. The video's getting long, and I just want to wrap it up. But I would normally fill out the player log and figure out if anybody got promoted or anything, which I don't think anyone did. So that will do it. I appreciate you guys watching. I am planning on doing the Stalingrad campaigns to show one of the expansions and maybe get into a little bit more situations that we maybe did not see here in this one. Like dealing with bombers or something maybe. Although, maybe doing something on the Western Front later in the war would handle that, because then we'd probably have some, B-17 interceptions or something like that to deal with. But I want to try out Stalingrad, so that's what I'm doing. Anyway. So as usual, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Please consider liking this video, sharing it so that other people can see it as well. And if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. And if you are a subscriber, thank you very much for your support. It is much appreciated. Until next time, my name is Joe. This has been Hexed Encountered, and happy gaming!